Hey, what can you learn from Guns N' Roses? What would be something that would relate to real estate? It's an interesting question. My wife and I took a road trip recently, and I took the time to download a book for us to listen to. I don't think she was too impressed in the beginning, but she learned to love it. It was a great book by Duff McKagan talking about his experience as the bassist player for Guns N' Roses. So what we learned in listening to this crazy kind of biography of how he got started with the band and what he went through in his life. One thing that he talked about, which really fascinated me, was when Guns N' Roses was beginning as a young LA band, what they had to do. You see, they would have to go out and meet with club owners and lounge owners to try to talk them into using them as a band, obviously. So they had to sell themselves. And the thing that the lounge owners and business owners got wise to was, instead of just paying these kids to come in and play, and if they're terrible, running guests out, they would make the bands pay them to play in the lounge or the bar. And so a classic example would be $300. It's kind of the going rate back then. So the group would have to spend $300 to get booked, and then the bar owner would give them tickets, which they could go out and sell to try to recoup those $300. So it was a risk every single venue they played of $300. They'd have to go out there and hustle and sell tickets. Imagine Guns N' Roses out selling. This is what they did. So how do they do it? Well, they created a fan club, so as to speak. They put together a list, a database of people that were their fans. So they had pretty girls walk out of the audience during any of these shows and collect names and phone numbers and addresses, no emails back then. And then they had their list of people to call for their next show. Now imagine this happened. This happened to a lot of people in LA at the time. You getting a call from Axl Rose saying, hey, we got a show coming up and we want you to play. You getting a call from Slash, hey, we got a show coming up. We would like you to come over and watch the show, right? So this is what they did. They worked their database with phone calls, with flyers being mailed out. What do we need to do in real estate? We've got to work our database. No different than Guns N' Roses to get off the ground and to create some momentum for our business. What an interesting concept, right? And for us, we need to be really systematic about it. We need to be collecting names just like they did and entering those into a database and then making sure we follow through so we stay top of mind and we sell some tickets. And what we mean by selling tickets is we receive some referrals. That's what we can learn from Guns N' Roses. If you get a chance, check out the book. It's a crazy book, but it's an interesting book.